been some moments, some good, some bad. Chris from Georgia wants to talk about it, how Syracuse has been kind of up and down. Chris?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm happy you're talking about kind of just this rocky road of a year for SU. And before, I think it's been well mentioned here on the show with your guys' great variety of hosts that this team just loves to play up and down. And
Yep.
I think a lot of that is on the coaching staff.
I couldn't agree
you talk
more.
about this is now it's early in the year. That was back in November, but going toe-to-toe with Houston without Donnie Freeman and up in Vegas. And then a game like tonight where Florida State is 7-9. Syracuse should be running away with this game at home. There's no reason that this game was close and that most fans had to be on the edge of their seats. This should have been a game where Syracuse could dominate and then mix some things up. But it doesn't seem like a team that is ready and prepared. And I know Syracuse has a lot of quad 1, quad 2 chances, but I'm wondering where you guys are at with the future here of this season and if they can make the tournament, because this is one of the longest stretches in program history, and that is, I think, what every conversation needs to come down to at this point. I just don't know if I'm ready to now, that's a good thing. Maybe they do play up to the Dukes and the UNCs.
Yeah, maybe.
But where are you guys at with that? And then also a bigger question about, like, the relevance of the team. Like, are the students getting up for these games? This is a 9 o'clock tip. Why is the tip so late? Like, I'm just wondering, as someone who was a former student, now watching from afar, I still love Syracuse basketball like crazy. I desperately want them to make the tournament. Are students really excited for these games now that they have not been a relevant team?
I will say, I think for this game, for a 9 p.m. tip, I thought it was a very good crowd. Now, the 9 p.m. tip, the previous game against St. Joseph's, that one's tough to judge because that was over winter break. Students are going home. The weather was bad. So I think the buy-in from the students has been there since the Tennessee game. I thought it would disappear maybe a little bit after Hofstra, but it seems like the fans are still bought in. But Chris, I'm glad you brought up the point toward what you were saying there about being prepared to play, because in these games, Syracuse has consistently come out very slow. Now, obviously credit to Florida State because they made their shots and they put a lot of pressure on SU, but I don't think they're taking teams lightly, but it's just like you want to see you can't keep putting yourselves in these holes. If you come out and start a game against Miami or Virginia Tech like this, it's going to be very hard to come back. Exhibit A, the Clemson game, right? That team is now ranked. You started so poorly and you almost came all the way back, but it's just like you'd like to see SU start quickly for once in these type of games.
Yeah, that's a great point, and you guys were talking about it earlier. It almost looked like SU was just hoping that Florida State would start to miss its shots.
Yeah.
That's never a recipe for success, like you said, against these bigger teams. And the Tennessee game, I think, is a great point because I think that's our glimmer of hope. And for me, it's still the Houston stretch and the solid performance in Vegas without Donnie Freeman. And look, if Donnie is going to be available, which has just been his issue, is availability. If he finishes the year, I do think Syracuse has a chance. Like I know it sometimes feels like doom and gloom for me from afar, but I'm happy to hear that the students are still engaged because it's been a long time without a tournament team, and I feel like just again from being there, and I'll make this one of my last points. You guys are doing a great job. On till 1. I had one time I was on a show. We were hosting till 1:50 after an NCAA tournament game, so you guys can do this. But look, knowing like there's some more casual fans who don't love Syracuse sports as much as we do, as much as the listeners do, but they're going to get up for these big games, and they're going to get up for, hey, we're in an NCAA tournament game, like we feel relevant. So I do believe Syracuse basketball is just starving for a tournament chance, and I know it's sometimes early to say that in mid-January, but I think that's what Syracuse fans can look forward to, is that every game is so big for this team. And like I said, and like you guys have said, the fact that they play up and down might actually be good if they can pull off some of these big wins and get something on the resume, because besides Tennessee, I don't see much. But again, thank you guys for having me. Love the double overtime. Love WAER. Donate if you can. All that good stuff. You guys rock. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for your support and everything you've done, calling in and interacting with us. There have definitely been a lot of moments where SU has played up and played down to its opponents. We've harped on that. Syracuse, thankfully, did play down a little bit to Florida State, but still did just enough to squeak out a 94-86 win over the Seminoles.